Hello YouTube, thank you for joining my channel today. My name is James, and in today's video we're going to be taking apart this Creative Zen MP3 player. The reason we're taking it apart today is pretty much just to see what's inside of it. The battery's bad, it does not hold a charge. It sat on the charger for several days and then, doesn't power up. So we're just going to take it apart and see what's inside this thing. So with that said, let's dive into the video. Okay, so what I have here is a Creative Labs Zen Vision M. I've never seen one of these before. I've never actually used one before. And it looks like the camera is out of focus for some reason. There's nothing for it to focus on. But yeah, it's a Zen Vision M 30 gigabyte device, 30 gigabyte model. So never used one, never seen one. Came across this thing. It's not working, so we're just gonna tear it apart just to see what's inside it. So the first thing I'm gonna grab, because I don't see any screws or anything like that around, anywhere on the outer shell of the device, is I'm gonna grab my little prying tool and try to get inside one of these seams. This plastic is so brittle. This thing was released in 2005, so I mean, doesn't necessarily mean that this specific model is, that this specific unit is 2005, but this model was released in 2005. Yeah, trying to pry is just breaking the plastic. You can see it's chipped a little bit here. So maybe there's something else keeping this together, or maybe this part doesn't come apart. I don't know. Let's see what happens if I try to pry the screen from the display here. You know what? I'm going to go to a particular favorite website of mine and see if I can find a teardown of this particular device. Okay. So there are a couple of screws on this thing. I found a teardown. There are a couple of screws on this thing, which explains why I'm just busting the plastic apart here, trying to get it open. It looks like I need to remove this little top cover here. There it goes. There's one side of it. There we go. And I lost the little switch out of there too. That's okay. So we'll set that aside. And there are two screws. Looks like right in here. You can't really see this one for some reason. It's like covered by something. But so I'll get my little screwdriver and we'll take those two screws out. Now I've got the case separated a little bit. Go ahead and take these two screws out. All right, now this comes apart. And I think I'm done with that for now. So this has come apart and we're going to disconnect the battery. Looks like this is the battery here. So go ahead and unplug that. This is the battery pack. Looks like a fairly large battery. I mean, covers the whole, this whole backside of the unit here. Oh, this looks like the hard, what would be the hard drive, and it is a 30 gigabyte Toshiba drive. And it looks like it has a connection right here. I don't know if you saw when I was looking at it earlier, but it's a Toshiba 30 gigabyte hard drive. So it has a connection here. We'll go ahead and wiggle that off and we'll set the hard drive aside. And that leaves us with what appears to be the logic board, with a headphone jack here on the top, the the hold and power switch. This thing will stop trying to focus. This camera never focuses where I want it to focus. Come on. Even right up here, you're going to focus on the desk. There we go. So, yeah, the headphone jack, the lock and power switch, and the hard drive connector. There we go. And to take this off, it looks like it's going to be 6 screws. 2 on the top corner, 2 on the sides, 2 on the bottom corner. So we'll go ahead and take those out. We'll try to leave these little clips here intact, with the screw and everything. If I do decide to put this back together, then these little metal come on. Then these little metal clips will be useful for doing that. Okay, so we have this now with all of its screws taken out. And so we're going to try to figure out how to get it looks like it pries up from here. Maybe. And one thing I did not point out earlier when I had this up here is this little black box here is appears to be a microphone. So this thing potentially has the ability to record audio. And it looks like there's yeah, there is, okay. So on the very side here, come on, you'll see a small black clip that's holding the top of the logic board down. So we'll just take our little pry tool and push on that clip a little bit. There we go, and that will release it. And I can let's disconnect this little cable down here. There's that disconnected. Okay, that will free us up a little bit on the bottom. And I apologize if you can't see what I'm doing on the camera. I'm trying to actually see what I'm doing here. So how did they do this? So there's a bit of tape over the connection here that I need to get off so that I can get to the connector. There we go. So got that tape out of there. And then the connector, how does it come off? Does it just pull? Or does it have a little... Yeah, I can't really... Yeah, it's hard to see what's actually going on inside here. That pulled that connector out. It is a little like a thing to flip up, but the way this thing was put together, you can't see it that way. So, okay, here we have the logic board out. Looks like part of the display mounting went to this contact pad here, where one of the screws was, probably as a common ground. But yeah, there's the logic board. This is a Texas Instruments chip. I recognize that logo. The rest of these chips, I have no idea what they are. I would imagine some of that is probably for like RAM and signal processing and that kind of stuff. Don't know. But yeah, so we'll set this aside. Now let's see if I can break this down a little bit further, because like the front panel here has some very interesting the front panel here has some very interesting things going on. The corners here are actual buttons, while this is a touch, like a touch sensitive scroll kind of thing for navigating the menu. So I'm curious what's inside, like what it looks like underneath all of this. So to get to this, looks like there's 4 screws, even though the camera's not focusing again. There we go, 4 screws right there in the corners. And I see maybe one more screw up here. One little screw there that I'll take out because looks like it could be needed. So we'll go ahead and take this one out. Which okay, so this one holds the actual display. That one little screw holds this display in place. So the display is now out. We'll set the display aside. And we'll take out these other 4 screws here. So the 4 screws have been removed, and that will allow us to remove apparently just this little cover here. So we'll set that to the side. And is this glued in, or what is going on here? So it looks like underneath that little cover, there are 4 more screws, so we'll go ahead and pull those out. Yes, so now this whole logic board has come out. Or not the, yeah, this isn't the logic board, but this whole assembly is now out. One of the things about the buttons that I mentioned earlier is that they are backlit. Like, you can see through them. So there's some lighting going on here too. And you can see that through these pads. This camera refuses to focus. Come on. Yeah, it's not wanting to focus, but you can see them. Like, you know, there's some area for the light to come through. We'll set those aside. This little button cover looks like it is connected in here. Inside here, there's a little connection. There we go. So to make it a little bit easier, I think we might be able to come in from this side with a, whichever way I have to move the camera. There we go. With a little pry tool, and I'm going to try to flip the connection up, but I don't think this one does. I think this one just pushes out. Yeah, this one pushes out. So it's out. That's disconnected. So this is the little scroll portion of the device. So set that to the side, and then this is the what's left of the just overall control navigation. I'm on camera. There we go. This is the control board for the Zen Vision N. Navigation board, sorry, not control. So that is everything. Looks to be all of the parts. The only thing I haven't done is like actually take this battery out, which I can try to do that. Let's see. I take off this little foam thing here, glued in there, which means the battery's probably also glued in. It's glued in there pretty well. Last thing I need to do is catch my house on fire. So we'll leave that as it is. And but yeah, that is all of the parts that are inside this Zen music player. And I guess I could go a little bit further and take apart this micro hard drive, but don't think I'm going to. I don't know. Leave a comment down below if you want to watch me take apart this hard drive. Just for the sake of taking it apart. So yeah, that is everything. Well, thank you for watching the video. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video.